man. How you conscious? How you doing what you do? And you know, you used to do your thing as far as the Mac Daddy, the Mac game. Talk to us a little bit about that, brother.
Yeah.
You know, how did you get into the whole thing of, you know, macking and, you know, doing what you do with the ladies?
Yeah, but I wasn't doing anything illegal, just macking as far as going to the club and spitting game. You know, I wasn't doing anything nefarious, so there's nothing to really explain as far as that end. But the thing is, my books were just about dating and relationships. See, a lot of people who try to deliberately throw salt on what we're doing with the Hidden Color series, they'll try to say that my books was about pimping. And I've never written a book about pimping because I've never pimped anybody. I've never talked about doing that in any of my books or anything that I've done. My books were all about just how square dudes can go to the
attitude. I even wrote a book on the game, man. I got a book. I'm one of the 5 pimps in history to actually have a book about the game. That's why I'm so well known around the country, besides my impeccable pimping sense. See, the macking game, there's a whole underworld that people don't even know about. You know, you hear the shit in rap songs, but people don't really go into the esoteric essence of the game. The number one rule of the game, like I said, you have to have integrity. You got to have strong character if you're going to be out here dealing with people in the hustle game, especially hoes. People think that we're out here deceiving hoes, tricking hoes to do shit they don't want to do. But these bitches know deception when they see it. They're dealing with deceptive men on a nightly basis. You know, they're dealing with married men who are cheating on their wives. They're dealing with motherfuckers trying to haggle on prices. Dealing with squares trying to trick them out of free pussy. So when they step to a pimp, they look at this man and respect him because he's honest with her 100% and she can be 100% honest with him. And that's what she likes about that man. And another rule, a very important rule of the game, is motherfucking respect of the game. Motherfuckers don't have that shit no more, man. People are just coming in the game, salting the game up, not knowing what the fuck they're doing, and you got to respect the game. And that's, again, in any game you do, even in the NBA. I like to use that analogy. Because you had Michael Jordan, you had Magic Johnson, who were great players, and they were great because they respected the game. They never got into all that bullshit. They didn't get into trouble. They kept that shit on the up and up, and they respected the game, and the game respected them. Whereas you had a person like Dennis Rodman, who was a good player, but Dennis didn't respect the game. Niggas used to come to practice with no shoes on, come to games with miniskirts and flip-flops and shit, and they got rid of him. So the game is never about you. You got to respect the game, because when you start thinking with ego again, you start thinking that I'm the flyest motherfucker, I'm this, I'm that, and the game is always larger than you. And that's in any game, either the hustle game, the pimp game, even gangbanging. Now, people know me. You know, they knew I used to be a C-Rider. I hang with the C-Riders and shit, but I still give respect and love to the blood sets and the Pyrus out there. I got love for them niggas. I give shout-outs to them. Athens Park, Black Peastone, Bounty Hunter, Fruit Town, Swans, all them niggas. Inglewood Fam, Westside Pyrus, Ludus Park, Rolling 20s, Outlaw 20s, Miller Gangsters, Bebop Watch, Treetops, Hollywood, Devil Lanes, Dimmer Lane, all the motherfuckers, man. Much love to them, because you got to respect the game. You can be a Gamma or a Kappa, but you still respect the Omegas. Anything you do, you got to respect the game and respect motherfuckers in this hustle game. The key to being a good Mac, you have to think with logic, not ego. You understand that? See, that's the difference between a player and a Mac and a pimp. People don't know how to differentiate between a player, Mac, and a pimp. A player is a motherfucker who's motivated by sex. He's sexually motivated. A player will lie, steal, kill, cheat, or do whatever just to get some poontang. A pimp is financially motivated. He's motivated by money. A pimp don't give a shit about sex. He wants money, purse first over everything. But a Mac is power and knowledge motivated. And knowledge and power, that shit is interchangeable. It's the same thing. And once you have knowledge and once you have power, you have the option to get sex or money at your disposal. You understand that? And that knowledge can't be taken away. That's what you got to base your game on, because you can luck up on some money. You can win the motherfucking lottery. But if you lose that money, you don't have the game to get that money back. And you might even luck up on a bitch. You might get a chili pimp who's pimping on a bitch you went to high school with. And that bitch grow up, she see the light, get with another pimp. That chili pimp is holeless, and he don't have the game to go get another bitch. So that's why you got to understand that hoes don't make the pimp. Game makes the pimp. Because as long as you have game, the hoes are going to be there. You can always get a new hoe. That's why you got to upgrade your game. You got to be knowledge motivated. And that's in any game, even in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? The NBA had Michael Jordan, who's one of the best players out there, but when he retired, the NBA didn't shut down. They went out and got some new players. And in the street game, your game don't shut down because of one bitch. You always upgrade your game so you can keep on getting bitches coming in and out, in and out, in and out, because you never know when a bitch is going to leave. See, there's basically two types of hoes. You have money-making hoes and you have attention hoes. And it ain't like we out here turning motherfuckers out. See, there's another stereotype. They think that Macs and pimps and shit are hanging out at Greyhound bus stations, turning out runaways and all that bullshit. And it ain't like we meet a bitch at a Fortune 500 company and turn her into a hoe. We already got a gang of hoes out here already. But the thing is, we got a lot of broke hoes out here. You got bitches out here in clubs sucking dicks for daiquiris. So what you do as a Mac, you got to instill game into some of these women and show them how to do the shit the right way. Because the reality is, man, it only takes 2 dicks to make a woman a hoe. A woman is fucking 2 or more dudes at the same time frame, she's already a hoe and she needs to be getting paid doing that shit. But you got a lot of attention whores who are fucking just for the attention of it and just acting hoe-ish for the attention of it. You know, you got females walking around with their ass out, their titties out, nipple rings, thongs and shit. And all they want is guys to just ogle over them and help boost their little insecure ass egos. See, a female like that ain't qualified to get the big money yet. So you got to get a female who's willing to learn. Now, an intelligent woman is always willing to learn and upgrade her game. Whereas you might get a young bitch who don't know the game. You know, she's young and experienced. Pussy still smell like pee. Got that mentality where a motherfucker can't tell her shit. That's an unqualified bitch. You got to reprogram her mind to go out there and get some money and listen to your instructions. You got to be the manager. You got to be like the sports agent. You can tell her. You can be out here by yourself, fucking around and be playing with the Clippers, so you can fuck with me and get on the Lakers. So that's how you got to step to them.
Also coming soon, my new book, The Art of Macking, for all you aspiring pimps and players. That shit is coming soon. This is K-Flex with Ghetto Dynasty Entertainment signing off.
Anybody can say there's a pimp. I go to a club and a lot of young guys are, I'm a pimp, I'm a pimp, I'm a pimp. But you can tell them the attitude. I even wrote a book on the game, man. I got a book. I'm one of the 5 pimps in history to actually have a book about the game. That's why I'm so well known around the country, besides my impeccable pimping skill. And another thing, man, a lot of guys are motivated to get into the macking game or the pimp game because they're sexually motivated. And you have to understand, man, the pimping game is not no sexual free-fall. That's what a lot of brothers don't understand. You can't be coming in the game thinking you're going to bang a gang of bitches. You're going to either have to be a freak or a pimp. You can't be both. You know what I'm saying? That's like a drug dealer smoking up all this shit. You can't fuck with your own supply. That's your business. You got to keep that shit on a business level. And the game isn't about sex. Because there's tricks out there that's doing all types of sexual shit to these broads. So there ain't shit you can do that can top that. So it's all about verbal game. All about verbal game. And a lot of guys, man, they start thinking with their egos again, instead of logic, thinking that when they get with the female, he's so fucking fly that the female don't want to be with another man. She shouldn't want to be with another man. And guys actually think that. They actually think that women are sitting around waiting on them to come into their lives. Whereas in reality, man, most women, attractive women, especially under the age of 25, they're going to be attached to a man somehow, some way, either emotionally or sexually. You know, she might have a man, she might say she's single, but she got a man in jail or a man out of town. She might say she doesn't have a significant other, but she has her some emergency dick on the side. So she's going to be attached to somebody if she looks worth a damn. That's just the reality of the game. And as a Mac, we understand that. Whereas a Square, he might have a woman and she goes out and fuck a gang of dudes and he's all heartbroken because he thought that his ego was supposed to keep that bitch. But as a Mac, we understand that a woman is going to go out there and fuck whoever she wants to fuck regardless. And you have the option to either accept that or reject it. Now, I will accept that, but you're going to have to bring some motherfucking money to the table, but I'll accept the hell out of it. And a lot of women are already turned out. You know, you got bitches already in strip clubs, you know, dancing up and down poles, doing flips and lighting their titty nipples on fire and smoking cigarettes with their pussies for $1. Where you can step to them and say you can do that same shit or less and get $1,000. So you just got to step to them with logic about what they're doing. That's what the game is about. And a lot of women, man, they think that all they have to do is be cute and have a nice ass or whatever, and they can get over. And that's a young mentality. Because there's a gang of fine-ass broke bitches out there, and that's just like having a Benz with no engine. You know, the shit looks good, but you can't go nowhere in it. So you got to instill game in these women. And I let women know it ain't enough to just be cute. Because all a motherfucker want to do is bang you. And it don't take much for a motherfucker to want to bang you. The requirements are real minimal. All you need is a pussy and a pulse. And the pulse is optional. But game will get you what you need. And that's where we come in. That's where the Macs come in. That's where the hustlers come in. We're going to teach you the game. We're going to teach you how to spit at these motherfuckers and get the cheddar out of them. And that game costs. Any kind of knowledge costs. Like if you go to Harvard or UCLA and you want to be a surgeon, there's a tuition that you have to pay. And the hustle game is no different. That's why they say the game is to be sold, not to be told. You know, a lot of people, they always wonder about this pimp game. They're like, why do hoes give pimps their money? That's a real big question people ask. People don't really understand that. But the pimp hoe situation is damn near like the square situation, because any man, any real man, square or hustler, wants a female who can bring some shit to the table. You know what I'm saying? If you working at IBM, you don't want no bitch just sitting up in the house. You're going to have to make biscuits or do some shit. And the problem is, man, a lot of square broads, man, they have this Cinderella mentality, this fantasy mentality, where they can just sit up, be broke, sit on their ass, and not bring anything to the table, go to the club, and meet Prince Charming, and he's going to come save them. But that shit is a fantasy, because, hell, even the lottery costs a damn dollar to play. So you're going to have to bring some to the table. And hoes, they understand this, because hoes are out here in these streets. And when you're out here in these streets, reality kicks in. You can't be fucking around, because your life is on the line out here. So you have to deal with situations in a realistic manner. So they know how to step to a man realistically and do what the fuck they're supposed to do. And any woman who says she won't pay a man, that's a woman who ain't got shit to pay a man with anyway. Because, see, if a woman has money, she got some paper, she ain't got no problem giving it to another man. She ain't got no problem with that shit. The thing is, most hoes, they got their money on because they getting their hustle on. So the money don't mean shit to them, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody's trying to step to a hoe for one thing. They're trying to get poontang from her. You know, tricks are trying to buy pussy, squares are trying to trick out a free pussy. So everybody's trying to get one thing out of her. But when a pimp comes along, he ain't thinking about the poontang. It's like, look, what's up with that money you got? And she's cool with that because she has that shit in abundance. She's thinking, well, damn, all you want is money? I have plenty of that. Here you go. So it ain't shit for her to give a player $500, $1,000, because she'll make that shit the next night. Whereas a square bitch, it'll take a square broad a month to make $1,000. So she looks at the shit differently. And the prerequisite to pimping is capitalism. That's the basic components of the game. In society where we live in, you either a pimp or you a hoe. If you work for any corporation and your boss is making more money on your labor than you are, that's pimping. That's what the game is about. And you gotta come out your mouth before you come out your pocket. See, that's another rule brothers don't understand. See, women really don't respect no damn trick. Because women know that brothers trick just to compensate for having a lack of game. So it's very essential that you get confidence in yourself. Because people ask me that shit all the time. How do I get confidence? How do I step to a broad? And that's the #1 element. Confidence is the key, because it's not what you say, it's how you say it. People ask me, what kind of pickup lines can I use on a bitch? I can tell you what to say, but if you say the shit and you're unsure about yourself and you're stuttering and you're insecure, you're still going to get shut down by the bitch. But if you have confidence behind what you're saying, you can say anything to her. You can walk up to a bitch, tell her she got a booger in her nose. But if you say it with confidence, she'll still be feeling you. So confidence is very essential for your game. And that's 10 basic rules to the pimp game. Real basic shit. #1, a pimp is always right. #2, you never let your hoe check you. #3, you get your hoes to invest as much as they can, as fast as they can. #4, a good pimp don't have to beat on no hoe. You always use verbal abuse if it comes on down to it. But if you have to use violence, that means you have to tighten up your game. #5, you always get your money before the honey. Don't accept money from your hoe until she reached her quota. Purse first, ass last. Rule #6, you never be at a loss for words. Rule #7, you always keep a cold, serious demeanor with your hoes. #8, your hoes are never equal to you. #9, the more money the hoe gives, the longer she stays, so always give yourself a raise. And rule #10, you always keep your thoughts a mystery. You gotta be a puzzle to these motherfuckers, and that's for any female. Your thoughts have to remain a mystery, because when you're dealing with a puzzle, you're intrigued because you're trying to figure that shit out. But once you figured out that puzzle, once you figured out that game, you're not interested in that game anymore. So you gotta keep on adding new pieces to the puzzle. That's what the art of macking is all about.
Yeah, Red.
Why do brothers who are pro-black hate on players that have white girls? But I noticed a lot of guys who are pro-black have white girlfriends. How long did it take you before you knew what you were really doing? I've always known I was going to get mine. So But I dated a white girl. Nigga, didn't I tell y'all I will fuck the shit out of Brooke Hogan? Yeah, I dated a white girl, nigga. Hell yeah. I'm not, I'm very pro-black, but nigga, I will raise up the flag of Europe in the bedroom